Thanks for joining us today. You're listening to the podcast. If you don't know, now you know. I'm your host, Mr. Hecker. Please enjoy the show. Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to If You Don't Know, Now You Know. My name's Mr. Hecker. Bunch of fucking lovely old men in here today.
I don't know about this old.
And young. So what we're going to do is a little bit different today. Today is State of Origin in Queensland. So we're going to introduce ourselves. My name's the old footy style. My name's Luke Hecker. Quilpie Bush Chooks. I was orange peeler most weekends. Couldn't catch the ball, but yeah, I'm me. Men's medicine too. I play for men's medicine. Here we go. Go around this way.
Oh, got a team. My name's Tarangi, and I come from Christchurch, the rugby capital of New Zealand.
Did they win any games?
The world, bro. The world.
They win all the games, bro.
Okay.
But yep, that's me.
Luna Holla here, men's medicine, and I hail from Brisbane, Cannon Hill Stars.
The fastest Tongan in the
If I
house.
was fit, I was wing. I was hooker, and if I wasn't, I was out on the wing. Still catching those balls.
That's giving me a lamu, bro.
Nick Phelan, Southside Rhinos, blindside flanker, now run on for Help Yourself.
Hitting it up. You practice that one.
Kia ora te whānau, Josh Hohua from Christchurch. Crusader country, no better place to be when you're playing rugby. Best place to play in the world. Yeah. Champions, best club rugby ever. I'm here for Help Yourself. I was open side flanker in my older days, and when I was fat, I was a prop. So, yeah.
Okay, let's kick it off. I like to start every podcast with a bit of gratitude. One thing you're grateful for today?
To be honest, right now, grateful for the brothers and everything that we do together, and we're creating along the way, and hopefully inspiring other people to do the same. So.
Yep, sweet, man.
Beautiful. I am grateful for my family, opportunity and possibility. I'm echo exactly what T said. Yeah, just grateful to be sharing the journey with brothers that are wanting to do something better for themselves and something bigger than themselves.
Yeah. I'm going to write off the boys as well. Definitely grateful for the family, grateful to wake up every morning, and I'm grateful to be able to help people.
Yeah, love it.
That was a little bit serious, eh? I'm grateful for this coffee, bro.
Yeah, the coffee.
You stole mine.
The coffee's good.
I'm grateful for... I was going to say coffee too, to cook this, but I'm actually grateful for opportunity. Passes by me every day, and I have opportunity whether I want to seize it or not. So opportunity is awesome, and to sit here and have this podcast with you guys is even better. So been wondering how we're going to taper this one today, but we're just going to open it up. How you boys been?
Yeah, good, bro. Busy, real busy.
Break it down for us, actually. I want to know, so everyone out there's listening, get a bit of an idea of what you guys are up to at the moment. Like, help yourself. Let's run through that.
Yeah, so Help Yourself for us was just, obviously we're three men that have come from different walks of life. Even T and I, who come from Christchurch, we had very different upbringings, and had a different path to be where we are today. But we sort of just come together. We met each other. We realised that we had common values and goals, and we just wanted to create something that was really that could cater to mainstream, cater to everyone. And our goal by Help Yourself was to encourage people to start working on themselves first so that they can better serve others. And that's what we do. And we just do it by being us. There's no filter. As you can probably tell throughout this podcast, there's no filter. We're not trying to make anyone happy. We're not trying to conform to what social, the community wants us to be. We're just going to share who we are, what we do, and hopefully it inspires and motivates other people to get out there and get theirs.
Show up as you are.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Nailed it.
Sorry, boys.
Yeah. You didn't leave any space for the other bros.
No. I was thinking about
what he said.
That's why I said coffee, because I was thinking.
Copy, paste.
Yeah.
Lenore, actually, I'll ask you a question. How's things been today for you?
Been good. My newborn son, he rules our world right now, and today was a good morning for our marriage, I think. Yeah, we had some breakthroughs this morning, and we're just constant. Every day is an adjustment. Every day is an adjustment. So the thing we realised this morning was that my wife, and you're gonna love this one.
Okay. Let's go.
The importance of routine.
Ooh.
The importance of routine. And what she realised was when she was at the hair salon yesterday, she realised how routine she was when she was working and how it benefited her, and that she's just been sitting in the last 2 months of just no man's land. just every day, her only goal is to look after our son. And other than that, there's no structure. That's the only thing. There's no guidelines, there's no timings, there's nowhere she has to be other than just with him. And she's realising now 2 months later, it's actually so counterproductive. Yeah. And it's actually starting to create a bit of tension within our home.
Yeah. You got to get out and got to get out. Routine's important. Yeah.
Yeah. So even my wife, routines.
She's onto it.
Yeah.
Wow. I had a question actually. Obviously, lovely help yourself shirts. What does help yourself mean to you? Like, if you were to say that to someone, help yourself.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for me, one of our visions is about changing the narrative.
Yep. And
so that's about changing the narrative within yourself. As the bro spoke about earlier, it's about helping yourself so that you can then better serve others. So for me personally, it's around changing what I call my childhood stories and figuring out, breaking them down so that I can overcome all those limiting beliefs, those barriers that have prevented me from going after what it is that I want to achieve in my own life, and then using that to then inspire others to do the same.
Sweet. Lenore, do you want to have a crack at this too? Like someone says, help yourself.
As you were sharing that, what I was thinking was how important it is for you to be self-sufficient.
Yeah.
That's how we're all going to win. If you really want the community to be a better place, then we all need to do our thing. Whatever it is you were designed, born, to do, it's important to do that. Yep. That's my interpretation of it. Is that no one can do it for you, only you can do it for yourself, and it's extremely important that you do.
Yep. Just like T said, you've got to help yourself first before you can help others. And I think too many people are out there trying to help others, which is a good thing, but they haven't looked after their own house first, so it all comes crumbling down on them.
I think we're always told who we're meant to be, who we should be, whether that be from our culture or from our upbringing, our religion. Everyone has an idea of what our story should be. And the only opinion that matters is our own. So if you're not living the life you want to live, then something needs to change. If you're not happy, then changes need to be made. And those changes need to be made for you. Right? As a father, for me, what I realized was that to be the best father I could be, I had to be the best man I could be. And I could only be the best man I can be if I'm working on myself. So how can I be a good role model if I wasn't doing that? If I'm asking my kids to aim for the stars and I wasn't, then I'm a hypocrite.
I love it. A solid name. That's why I was like, okay, we'll get a bit of an understanding.
Where did it originate from? Because everything starts somewhere. Someone come up with the name.
Used to always say it all the time, and it kind of come from going to my nan's house, and she'd be like, go in the kitchen and help yourself, sort of dig it into a bit of a feed. But then it started to, I'd be watching football and things like that, and we'd watch old mate break through the line, like, oh, he helped himself, you know what I mean? So he got after it on his own. So that's sort of when I started saying it and where it sort of come from for me. But yeah, used to say it all the time, still do.
And I think ultimately, as much as it says help yourself, helping yourself is actually helping everyone else.
It sounds selfish in the title, but it's quite the opposite.
Serving for others.
Exactly.
Got to help yourself if we can help others. And that's just a common, people don't even get that. They're always trying to give. Yep. But, in order to give to others, you need to give to yourself first. Yep. As we always say, you can't give someone something you can't give to yourself.
Yep.
I want to go back around the table again because I want to know biggest challenge of 2020 and why.
That's a pretty easy one for me. My tamariki, my children live in Rarotonga.
Yep.
And then obviously with COVID, not being able to get over there and see them as often as I would like to. I actually saw a memory pop up on Sunday morning of the first time that I went over there this time last year to go and see them. And my goal was to be able to go and see them a minimum of every 3 months.
Yep.
Then obviously I got over there in February this year, late February, and then haven't been able to get back there again since. So, I'm a massive family man, and I'm all about my tamariki. So not being able to go and spend time with them, especially now that I'm in a position where I can actually run business from anywhere. I've got everything financially sorted out. To not be able to do that has been pretty challenging. But obviously, we've got the use of social media. I brought my kids their own cell phones for their birthdays, so now I can communicate with them directly. So those sorts of things are what you put in place to make sure that you overcome them. But yeah, it's been the biggest challenge.
Yeah, I'll get a phone too, hey?
Did Daddy Leno give you one?
No, I haven't got one. Here's in the mail. I'm waiting for it. That's solid. Leno, what's yours?
Man, I think just even hearing
Throw that mic up a bit closer.
hearing T share that, if I putting myself in his shoes like that made me feel like I wanted to cry.
Yeah.
To spend that much time away from your kids, yeah.
Super hard.
Challenging. One of my clients hasn't seen his kid in like whenever you couldn't get into Melbourne,
Yeah.
which has pretty much been this whole time.
Yeah, wow.
His daughter lives in Melbourne.
It's tough.
Yeah. And I was just like, man, that would drive me nuts.
Yeah, I had one of my bros. He was out on the rigs for 8 months.
Shit.
8 months this year. Didn't come home.
That's a long
Couldn't
stint.
come home. And
That's
yeah,
a long stint.
And he come home and then he had to wait in quarantine for 2 weeks for his family and see him every day. I was like, oh, that's hard.
Yeah. And we're all about family around here, so
Yeah.
I'm sure we can all. Bro, you're doing well, bro.
You're doing well. Except for not giving me that phone. I'm still waiting.
I'm still waiting on mine too, bro. Don't worry. There's a long list of us.
iPhone 12 plus?
Yeah. That's it. That's what you're saying the other day, actually.
He wants the new one.
Well, if you see the bro's phone, I think he needs to buy himself one first.
If you saw his phone, we'd all chip in and get him a
Challenging, I think just constant change. Not a little bit of change, just like daily, weekly change. Stretching. It's really tested me this year. And, that was my response this morning to people in the gym as well. It's just been constant changing. And that's been my most challenging thing, to keep on pushing my boundaries, keep on stretching myself, keep on, just like breaking down the stories, and surrendering and just allowing myself to change time and time again.
I'll give you a big kudos, brother. You've actually come a lot of changes here.
It was your ex-girlfriend I was actually saying it to this morning.
Which one?
Yeah, and
They all go
David.
to the same gym. They all go to the same
you know
gym.
what they do actually? Yeah,
They do go legit.
They do.
They go to the
But
same
that's
gym.
I said that's what I said to them.
Which one?
Sharon.
Oh, was
The
it?
bro wants to
Sharon.
know, wait.
Yeah.
Which one were you talking to? Who were you talking to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit weird when your ex-girlfriends go to the same gym and they're all there at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing.
If there's no breakup, you don't have to face that.
Do they still talk to each other?
No, they all know each other.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we're all civil. Like, we could all sit here and have a chat. I hope so. Yeah, I love that, Nenel. You have changed a lot. I know, because you're like not the biggest, person open to change. Like that. As where I can shift and change. Like you also get a little bit more movement.
Yeah, that's what the conversation was this morning. That I'm emotionally attached to pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that you're absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm on the other opposite.
No attachments.
Yeah.
I'm emotionally driven to do everything I do.
Yeah. But that's where our balance in it, in our relationship is really good as well, because he sees things I don't, and then vice versa as well. So
That's cool.
It's been solid. What playing in our strengths in those areas as well.
Definitely.
Anything else?
No, I'm sure you guys can understand, because
Yeah.
this is sort of what it's like when you share business with people.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure.
So this year, I think in February, I split up with my partner, and we had just had a newborn. So haven't seen him very much, probably 2 to 3 times in this period. Missed his birthday, things like that. So that's been really dark and really tough, but probably been one of the best years of my life. On the other note, like I've taken that negativity and tried to turn it into a positive and try to work hard and whatnot. But you miss your family, especially being a family man. But smooth sea, never made a skilled sailor, so getting tougher each year.
You're getting all the lessons you need
That's
in
it,
life.
bro.
Obviously,
That's it.
someone's teaching you something right
Yeah,
now.
man, definitely.
I look
Especially
forward
these
to
two.
Yeah. Oh,
Not sure what that is,
They,
bro.
they don't look like it, but they're good rocks.
well, where are they
Good rocks,
leading
bro.
you?
I'm not too sure yet.
They're solid. They're solid. You'll find it at the end of the, it's the big gold nugget at the end of the tunnel.
That's it,
hopefully,
bro. Waiting for that season finale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a tough one. Probably for me, the hardest thing has probably been change, I think. Probably change in terms of I had a lot more free time. So I had to sit in myself a lot more. And I struggled to find balance in everything in my life. So between family, work, and trying to still take care of myself was hard. So I think it was probably that, I reckon. And then the ways I used to cope with so anxiety and mental health was had to change, because there was normally, so for me, I worked as a PT for a long period of time. I was always on my feet. I was always training people. I was always busy. But, so, you know, that was, I didn't really have time to think about that stuff. And the way I dealt with it was training. And then when I decided to put the training aside and focus on piki te whole water and help yourself, I had a lot more time where I had to sit in within myself. And I didn't like it. I struggled with it. But now that has probably been one of the biggest. I think meeting Lena was massive, because if you know, I made it pretty public. I thought men's medicine was all shit.
Did you read that post?
I thought it was all shit. So the bro really helped me there. Just trying to find things that I was struggling with that I didn't know were there. And I've always been a big advocate for dealing with mental health in certain ways, but I had to find new ways. So that was my biggest challenge this year, and probably being open to my partner about those challenges, because I've sort of been her rock for that. So then to now ask her to support me in those were difficult. Because I think as men, it's still, even though but as men we still feel like we have to be strong. And so that was probably my hardest thing, was to be real open about the things I was insecure about as well. And so I was just facing a lot of those was difficult. And I think, again, just changing business was probably what made it the most difficult, but it was also the most rewarding, because I feel like I'm at a place in my life where I'm completely me for the first time. So, yeah.
Love it, bro. So. My biggest challenge this year was definitely letting go of one of my identities, which was my builder identity.
Yeah.
Having to drop everything, changing, careers, and doing, we're here right now doing a podcast at home. So whoever would have thought that? And always was called, Luke the Builder. Everyone knew me as a tradie, and transitioning out of that and doing something different with my life was quite hard, because I was like, oh, who am I? Am I this guy? Am I that guy? So that was a really hard challenge for me, transitioning out of that. And yeah, I had to, I guess, drop my ego a lot. I got rid of a lot of things this year, and stripped it right back and been really basic. So that's, I was used to living a certain type of lifestyle in the construction game, and then having to change it. And yeah, it's been challenging, but that was a lot of lessons out of it, and it really shook me up in all the right ways. So it's been solid in that stance, and and just hanging in there. Hey, that's been the main thing. I just wake up every morning and start swinging.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I like that.
Just not the hammer anymore.
Yeah, I'm just like, that's it, man. It's not always going to work out, but I'm like, if I wake up every morning and you just start swinging, something's going to happen.
Yeah, bro.
And that's a massive transition, huh?
Yeah.
To go from construction to, just now what we do, which is like a multitude of things.
Yeah. Yeah, podcasting and, I guess working in this men's medicine, and, just doing the back end and like a whole different aspect, a lot of content creation. 6 months ago, I didn't know how to use Adobe Pro or anything like that. I downloaded it. Now I've got friggin', hundreds of hours of videos on there. Cool. And so it's been a really big transition for me trying to do that.
It's one of the hardest things, is stepping away from the comfort of what you know, which is your everyday job, to then taking that risk and that leap of faith of going, actually, I want to do something completely different. It's the same for us, stepping away from our 9-to-5 job.
What were you doing before Piki Te Haora?
So prior to Piki Te Haora, we were working, both Josh and I were working 7 days on, 7 days off in youth work. And it paid a substantial amount of money, but it obviously meant that you, for the bro, away from his whānau for 7 days at a time.
In the houses.
In the houses.
Residential youth work.
Residential youth work. So, but then to step away from that comfort of that, you know that you're getting paid every fortnight or every week.
How long were you guys doing that for?
So I was there for a couple of years, and then the bro probably you about a year.
Yeah, about a year.
But on the opposite week, we were working for a mentor company. So we were doing 116 hours one week, and then 40 hours the other week for another company. So we were just working and working, pretty much for Piki Te Haora, that to try and create something with that. We weren't sure what it was, but we're just so now at nights, every single night we were working on communicating. The only way we could communicate was through Messenger. We never got to see each other because we were working in opposite weeks. So we never saw each other, but we built a business through texting and FaceTiming and so
and just straight hustle and drive to know that we wanted to support and work with our own people, and that's what we were able to do.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And I think there's a lot of, one, it's an interesting thing for people to want to hear because they don't know that.
Yeah.
And also a lot of value in that,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
because showing to people that you can change.
Yeah.
Things can change. How long were you a builder for?
5 years, 6 years. Oh, I was a builder, and that before that, I was a carpenter and a plumber. So I was in the game since they died, and it was very
How
hard.
many years all up?
Oh, 10, 15. No, 10, yeah. At least over 10 years, like 10 or 12 years. I never counted it. I didn't want to.
I think people need to understand that, it's the hardest thing is to chase it, right? Maintaining it's the hardest, to be honest. But that initial part, you're gonna have to take a hit. I went from 140K a year to 600 a week for a couple of months, few months. You know, that paid my rent and barely got groceries. So, and I have 5 kids, so it was really difficult at the start. But we just knew we had something. And if you believe you have something, or you believe you have the ability or the tools or the knowledge, whatever it may be, the experience, then you have to chase it. Otherwise, you're going to be left wondering for the rest of your life, and I didn't want to do that. Luckily, I had the bro for support, and my partner was really supportive because she could see that it was the one thing I've tried to do that I was really passionate about. And I was really open with her about what we wanted to achieve. But when it happened, it blew up. It was awesome. But it's hard.
It was tough too because I just stepped away from the week on, week off, just as COVID had hit.
Yeah.
So we were planning on opening up face-to-face locations all around Queensland. Then COVID hit, and it was a massive freak out of, well, are we actually going to be able to make this work?
We had 10 days.
We had 10 days to
It was like 10 days to ask for our jobs back.
or change from face-to-face to online. And we were fortunate enough because of our drive and our commitment to knowing that we wanted to work with our people and what we wanted to achieve. We were able to transform it to online in 10 days, and it just blew up from there.
The bro was teaching 12 classes a week, and I was talking to thousands of people, like hundreds of people a day, and there was just no sleep. But now because we stuck by it, we have like 15 teachers on board, we have admin staff on board, and that's been since end of January, you know. So, but there was no sleep at all. We were working out of the local rugby club during COVID.
That's where we met.
Yeah, I remember coming down there too.
Yeah. So it was awesome. It was an awesome experience. It's the most rewarding thing that we have done outside of having kids, you know. So it was a challenge. We challenged each other a lot. Probably me more than the bro, because I'll probably get a little bit more aggressive sometimes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, what did you do before?
I was a miner, so I did 10 years for BHP as a plastic fabricator and draftsman. So yeah, that was similar to you.
What was your rotation?
All different rotations. Normally it was 2 weeks on, 1 week off. I did a stint in the Congo, so I did 6 weeks there, and I did another one in Saudi for about 6 weeks. So they were not fun.
Look at my eyes.
Yeah, bro. It was funny. It's a big eye opener to.
So you met Lionel's cousin.
In the Congo.
It made me really realise the stuff we complain about. You know, there was a guy there that we were on huge dollars working for a US company, and these guys, the locals, were on $300 a month, and they were wrapped. You know, they were the richest people in their village. So like when we left, we gave them whatever USD we had left because we didn't need the walking around money, and they were like in tears, like we can go and buy another hut for $200, and you're like, wow, it's amazing, you know, the things we take for granted and we think we're doing it tough, you know. That really opened my eyes big time.
Definitely. I want to know, now another question to pass around the table as well, biggest win for the year as well, because we're kind of getting close to the end of the year. We've hit on some lessons, but I want to know some wins as well.
Go, bro.
So I've got a couple, obviously.
Oh, no, I only want one.
You only get one.
Quickly, obviously, business-wise, but we're going to be talking about that throughout. Probably my biggest personal win this year is I've just recently, I haven't shared this publicly yet with many people, but I built my own house.
Let's go.
And moved in 3 weeks ago. And the whole purpose behind that was to have a house for my kids. Again, always goes back to my whānau. So I built a nice 4-bedroom house so that my kids have each got a room. It's on an 800 square section. It's got palm trees in the back of the backyard because obviously my kids being in Rarotonga, I want them to be able to come over here and still have part of that life with them. So for me, that's probably my biggest win.
Is the fridge full?
The fridge is actually empty at the moment. I need to go shopping after this.
But the cupboard's full of alcohol.
Oh, is it? We're coming over.
Plenty of whiskey,
We're
bro.
coming
Plenty of
over.
whiskey.
You tell me when that fridge is full, we'll come over and open
I'm just
up
waiting
the-
to fill it up with some crayfish from when you win.
Yeah, sorry, I can't do
some
that.
power.
Busy that day. Busy that day. Nah, maybe. I actually did want to bring back some crayfish, but I changed my plans.
I wouldn't have got past Lino anyway.
Oh, I heard about that the other day.
At the start of the year, I did have some, and then my dad, and my sister's allergic to shellfish, but I don't know if I told you, maybe like midweek my hand started to swell up.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no.
So I was like, maybe I won't have it for breakfast today.
Win. What's your win?
Just feeling better now than this is probably, I guess I'm feeling really grateful. Just really grateful that this has been a really challenging year. Super challenging year in more ways than I can, say. I've been a PT for 15 years. As you know, I went to Bali, went to a retreat, there for 8 days. Phone was taken off us. When I come out of the retreat, the whole world changed. Yep. You were saying, bro, if you got enough money to stay there, stay there. Don't come home.
I'm coming home.
And I didn't really understand how serious it was. And then we came home and we quarantined in the house for 2 weeks. It was weird.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that.
Oh man. I won't talk too much about the quarantine.
Yeah, don't, bro, don't.
Water under the bridge there.
Man, I was cutting the grass with scissors.
Bro, he was.
I
He
was
was
in
out
the
there.
backyard. I'm like, if I start now, I'll finish it by the time it's all done. I was cutting it
bro.
with scissors with my hands.
Yeah.
One blade at a time.
Yeah. And then once I'd cut it all, I was like, let's make it even.
I think
out all the weeds.
that's when I first reached out to you, eh?
Yeah.
I was like, let's catch up, bro. And then you're like, yeah, when I get out of quarantine, after I cut this grass.
But to change it, obviously we had a son this year. He's obviously, you know what? He's been my biggest win.
Yeah,
They
nice,
say that your partner brings out your higher self. I think your kids are a close second. Hey?
Yeah, bro.
Definitely.
Close second. I think especially if you're a parent and you're not designing your life to be, moving to bring the best out of your child, I think you might have it a bit confused. Yeah. I think ultimately it's always about the kids. I think especially as men that we think we're really good at thinking for ourselves.
Yep.
And we think, that's right, we've got kids.
Yeah.
So we've got this plan for life, and we're just like, geez, what did that? Geez, I didn't really think about that. I just thought I'd just throw them onto my ride. But doing parenthood differently second time round has really changed the way that everything has moved. So look, he's been the biggest win for this year. That and change.
Yep.
Love it.
I'd have to say probably my positive attitude this year has been a big win for me, and help yourself. Not just starting that business, but actually helping myself more than anything. Taking the risk, stopping doing mining, getting into basketball cards and the things that I'm passionate about, and just looking after myself. Definitely my biggest win this year, for sure.
You think it's your environment as well? Like,
100%. 100%. It's who you surround yourself with, people you interact with. I've met a lot of good people this year, so that's helped a lot as well.
We're the best, though.
But then it comes down to your attitude in that
Exactly.
as well. Because
Exactly.
bro, the reason we connected with the bro is because he's so bloody friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the way he communicates with you and just makes you feel welcome and makes you want to.
I was drawn in by the beard, bro.
We like to shake the beard.
I thought, man, Nick's keen, hey.
I don't think he realised what he's getting into. to
Lino was
start
like, our 2-hour walk is enough, eh?
Yeah. Like to me, I'm cool with it. And he's like, there's this Aussie guy, there's this basketball, shop, and when you're hanging out more, I'm like, well, he must really like this thing.
Bro, it's kind of like a roller coaster, It looks really fun. It's pretty scary when you're on there.
Going up is all right.
Still haven't come down.
No, we're still up there, mate.
Wait, it'll come.
We're just doing the loops, bro.
He experienced the first love tiff between T and I the other day, so
And he eventually got involved.
yeah. Big spoon.
Crack up.
Win for me, man. There's been a lot. 2024 some has been a pretty shit year, but for me it's been an amazing year. But I would say for me it's probably the relationship with my partner. Probably. I think COVID was testing with the kids being home from school. Real testing. But I think just our relationship is in a really amazing place. I got engaged this year too, so that was cool. Yeah. But I think I was always terrible in relationships. My expectations for my partners.
I was like, you're speaking to the right person.
My expectation for my partners was always super high. My expectation for myself in the relationship was super low, and I think it was just how I grew up, what I saw, and it's just that old school dynamic of the man goes to work, that's all he does. So I started to take notice of her more, and I should have taken a lot more notice earlier. But she had made massive changes too. We both started to learn about each other more. We both put a lot more effort in, and man, like, yeah, our relationship was amazing. Never felt this way about anyone before. And so probably that's a massive win, because I've never felt like that. You know, people talk about love, and I knew the word. I'd say the word a lot. But you don't really know until you actually feel it, and that's probably that's been the biggest win, because I didn't even think I'd ever feel that way. You know, I thought it was a fairy tale, one of the bullshit things like men's medicine, but but you know, so that would be it, bro. Like, there's been a lot like business and friendships and help yourself, you know, connecting with you bros, but that would have to be number one.
Yep. Love it. Ooh, I'll go kick off a win. A win. Oh man, change, hey. Change has been awesome for me. Yep. It's been everywhere in my life this year, and it's been awesome. It's been really shit at times too, but all the lessons and everything have been there. So definitely change for me has been the win in just all aspects of my life. I've changed my attitude a lot, the way I approach things. I'm a little bit more open to certain things. I'm learning to go slow to go fast. Yep. That was a big lesson I learned. I was trying to do too much. Really in the last 4 or 5 months, really just cutting a lot of things out of my life and just being, okay, this is what I got, I'll make this work. Instead of trying to do 100 things, I'm just doing these couple of things really well. Yep. So focusing down on that, that's been my win.
I think this year's been awesome for a lot of people, right? Like, you know, COVID was a big thing where we had to be around our loved ones more, and those, you know, and like for me, like I always struggled with conflict, and where I wanted to engage in it. Like, if someone said something I didn't like, I was like, there's one way to deal with this, you know, like, but I think like, especially this year, and I guess last year as well, but this year especially, there's been a lot of that, you know, when you put yourself in a position to be judged, especially in the businesses that we do. I used to really struggle with that, but I think this year has made me look at it differently and start seeing it from different people's angles and views, and maybe looking at why they think that way a lot more. So that's probably been a big, in terms of change for me, inside myself, has probably been that. Because when I was a PT, I was this angry man. I don't know why people paid me. I was an asshole. Like, literally, like, I would yell and scream and swear, because I came out of the army from New Zealand and then come over here and became a personal trainer. And at that time, especially, people just wanted that. I'd make people cry and they'd come back. I'm like, why the fuck are you coming back?
There was a time in the industry where it was like overtraining.
Yeah.
Just go. Remember the comp period where everyone was competing?
Shredding for Stezza.
Yeah, that made me lots of money, bro. Yeah. That competing buzz made me a lot of money, I'll tell you that. But yeah, definitely, I think that I was always angry, you know, my entire life. But this year and last year, these probably last couple of years, it's been a thing since I turned 30. You turn 30 and shit's got to change, right? If you're still doing dumb shit at 30, you got to change. But I think these last couple of years, especially.
How old are you now?
Let's not share. 34.
Next
so 34. So last 4 years has been a big change, but this year for me, I think, you know, meeting people, I think being in that space of COVID and everything else, and social media just blew up on people wanting to help and share. And I think it's hard to filter through those that are genuine, and I kind of feel like we might have found a couple of dudes like that. Yeah. But I think being more open to that, and I think we'll find. Too soon to tell you.
I'm trying to let him talk, man. I'm like, keep the laugh down.
I think, but yeah. So I think that's been a big thing, and definitely connecting like that. But yeah, the change. I've even seen the change in the bro from when we first met and started our business. And I've seen the change in Nick since he's met us about 2 months ago, because he met us.
Oh, okay. You didn't
positive
meet him?
change, massive positive change.
Still up in the air a bit.
He's come out of his shell.
Up for debate.
I think there's definitely a big element of truth in what you're saying. I think that a lot of Westerners have a lot of value to be gained from being around Polynesians.
Yep.
Because we're so family orientated.
Yep.
you know. And I think in the Western society, that's
It's getting lost.
it's
big
pretty much
time.
lost.
Big
you grow
time.
up, you go out, you
Yep.
move out.
Yep.
For Polynesians, we never leave home.
Yeah.
You always go home. Doesn't matter how much you hate each other. You still go home.
That's what, growing up in towns, we used to be down the park and that, like with my friends shooting all that, and you see all these Polynesian families having a massive feed of fish and chips, and like someone's got a guitar and they're like all together. It's like, shit, I don't even know where my brother is. Like, is he in Australia still? Like, I've got no idea. Like,
You got to get down there early to get one of those seats. The tent's set up. I go down to for a swim at Tally Creek at like 6 o'clock. Also,
It's
he's
on,
got
bro.
the mats out. There's 10 mats out. He's got. I'm like,
love it, bro.
he's setting up
Yeah, I
camp.
love it,
There's
bro.
like.
But you know who everyone is because they all wear their flag.
Yeah.
sometimes they're flying out the front,
I
bro.
forget what I'm wearing sometimes, and sometimes people go, "I'm on holiday," and I was like, "Oh, how did they know I was Tongan?" Because I'm wearing the badge.
It's everywhere. It's written all over.
And they're coming out of either the people mover.
Yep.
Or don't know how.
Toyota Steamer, was it, bro?
How did they come out of the hatchback?
But it's always funny, yeah. You think the springs are cut, and then a couple of islanders rock up, and the hatchback goes sink, straight back up.
Straight up. All out. They got the UE boom, the fan.
The lava out.
Yeah, it's solid.
That really ugly looking cricket stick bat
Yeah.
thing that you guys have.
They're worn down.
Kalikati or whatever you call it.
Oh, I want to play a game actually, since we're here
Here
playing
we
games.
go. Here we go.
Okay, we'll practice some vulnerability. So everyone gets to ask someone else a question. It can be whatever. There is no filters on it.
There is no filters.
Everyone's
Is this a game?
It's going to turn into a boxing match, I think.
We just warmed up and now, here
Getting
we
those
are.
sore vibes, you know? We're going to be chained to something.
I was like,
Oh, you having that podcast?
yeah, no. So I was thinking, how can we change this up a little bit? You get one question, you can throw it at whoever you want, and it can be whatever it wants.
One question.
One question, yeah.
You could have given this to us before the podcast, bro. So you could have thought about the question.
Oh no, you don't get to do that anymore.
In the
It's
moment.
not a game then, is
Yeah,
it?
well, let's pause the podcast so we can think.
No.
So the question's for everyone.
No,
One
you
person.
can just
One
shoot it at
question
someone.
For one person.
No.
Oh,
Nah, I haven't got one yet. But I'll,
the probably hasn't even got a question.
like, how tall are you?
That's real watchable, mate.
He's as tall as he is wide, the bro.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Oh, I'm just trying to think too.
it's about being
what I can
vulnerable?
open this. Yeah. It can be anything. Open it up because I feel like there's some questions that.
I don't know whatever you were talking about before. I thought a question came to my mind, and that was, what do you really care about most?
What do I care about most?
What do you care about the most? What is the thing that just matters the most to you?
Matters the most. Well, my family matters the most, but that's a pretty broad way to say it.
I guess the question is why.
I think I want to be a. Oh, sorry, bro. I think I want to. I guess my biggest thing is trying to be the leader or the individual that I wanted when I was growing up. I think that's probably it.
And when you answer this question, I want you to think about your actual family, your partner, and or your kids while you're answering that.
Yeah, I think.
How many kids is that?
Five.
Names?
Lewis is my oldest, and then
Age?
14.
15?
15, just turned 15. Sorry, they know. 7 is Taylor, 5 is Sailor, 4 is London, and 2 is Honey, the hurricane.
Because when we put
Honey
a
the
name to
hurricane.
these things that we're talking about,
And my partner's name's
it
Hayden.
makes it more real.
Yeah, I think definitely family. I think for me, they're the motivation in everything I do. Like if I'm struggling within myself, then I remind myself how fortunate I am to have the people that I have in my life, and it's always them first and foremost. But I think a big thing for me and a lot of the issues that I have had in my life, and this isn't I don't want to downplay my parents and their role in my life, but the way I chose to live it too, not just the experiences that I had with my especially my father, but a lot of the issues I have had in my life has been from my upbringing, and not necessarily just the old dad giving you a hiding because you've been a little shit, but more so the lack of understanding and the lack of acceptance, or I felt like that, and it's because I didn't accept myself. I had issues with a lack of belonging, and so there's a lot of issues that I realized that I went through when I was younger that led to a lot of anxiety that I want to be able to ensure I'm there and capable to help my kids and my partner through. So that's probably the big thing, is that's what means the most to me, is to be the best role model, the best leader, the best father I can possibly be for them. But that gives me joy. So me, that gives me joy. So like out of everything else, when I am doing things well, and so like I still make mistakes. Like I've run parenting programs, and I've worked within different sectors and community services for youth for the last 9 years. I still make mistakes as a parent. But what I get most proud was because I know I'm going to make mistakes. So if I always have this thing where does the punishment fit the crime with my kids? And sometimes I go off when it doesn't. Like I'm like, just it's been a crap day, and I'll get a little bit angry and I'll fly off. And then my biggest thing is always recognizing that and talking to my kids and apologizing and getting down to that level and saying, Dad, that didn't deserve that, blah, blah, blah. So I think those little things are the things that I didn't see growing up, and so making those changes and breaking that cycle, I get joy out of knowing that I'm doing the best I can. And if I can say that I'm doing my absolute best, then
because that's like the highest vibration, joy, above love,
100%.
So like I guess that's sort of the greatest answer to the question. What do you care about most, and of the highest vibration? This brings me joy.
Yeah. It's, like for me, those little things, right? Like you can find inspiration in the smallest things. Like when you pick your kid up from school and they come in and you give you a hug. How fucking good does that feel? That's the most amazing feeling in the world. Yep. Like when your kids, you tuck them in for bed and you read a book and then they tell you they love you, without you initiating that. Yep. Like those things are like, that's it. That's motivation. Like that's joy, that's love, that's that feeling. You walk out of that bedroom going, that's
you couldn't put a price tag on it.
No.
So I think those, that's what it means most to me, because they're the best feelings of the day for me. Like when everything's said and done, and I actually want to lay in bed next to my partner and watch a movie. I actually want to be there, or sit on the couch, and we don't even have a conversation, but we just feel good being in each other's company. They're the best feelings, and that's
to get there takes work.
Oh yeah, a lot of work.
The old saying of you get paid for in public what the work you do, in private, and for all the things that you do to get to that moment. Like that's what it took.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Big fucking roller coaster.
Yeah.
Massive.
I got a question. I
was going to go T as well.
Yeah. Okay. Are you open to love? And if so, what does it look like for you?
Oh, Jesus.
Look this way. Yeah.
Look at
when I steer into his eyes.
I knew it.
Absolutely open to love, bro. I'm massive on love. It's something that, it brings me joy, and the desire to want to feel love and the desire to want to give love is something that I often think about. What does that look like to me? Well, it depends on.
We're going to put it out to the universe just in case, something might come in on this.
Well, it depends on which way you look at it. From a parent point of view, obviously, the love for me looks like my kids being happy, my kids enjoying their life, being able to be open and communicate the best that they possibly can. Going back to those same things that the bro was talking about, of the things that you weren't able to do as a young person. So helping my children to open up and be vulnerable at a young age and being able to express themselves. That's love for me from a parent perspective. From a partner's perspective, it's being accepted for who I am, allowing me to be me 100%, and no expectation of more or less, and just the desire to want to show love and listen to a partner's love languages and following them. I'm currently in a relationship.
Yeah.
There it is.
We got it out. That's
Currently in a relationship and have been so for, I think, maybe...
Don't get it wrong, bro. Don't get it wrong, bro.
Into that experience.
I want to know if the camera's going to show him blushing right now.
Yeah,
Because he looks sunburned.
Because the question was like...
that's where I was getting at.
And what does it look like?
Lino's excited, eh?
I'm like, you know, and it can always... emotion transcends over, transmutes through the camera, right? And that we can always feel whether something is very heady. Yeah. Like, when someone's speaking from here, you're just like, man,
Get to it. Get to it.
Come on. Where are we?
And he's like, I'm like, this is like very analytical. We're talking about love here. And then the moment you said that, it got warm. It's like,
I'm warm as.
I'm like, if he doesn't mention it, he won't be in a relationship tomorrow.
That's what I was getting at. I didn't know. I was trying to ask the roundabout question.
And this is
dancing hard.
No. This is why I saved this for the second part.
Yeah.
Because the first part is important to me, but right now, where I sit with love is in this relationship that I'm in.
Did you think this answer had sequels?
No.
It's not Star Wars, bro.
But anyway, let me get back to my story and talking about love. So I've been in a relationship for roughly 4 or 5 months now, and I am in love. I am in love.
I got it.
I'm just like, oh man. And like when you're people watching, right, you can see sort of what's going on. Like, let's say like if this was high school and this was the playground, and you can see the chemistry between people, and I'm like, you can see the chemistry between people. And this is like what that was. Listening to that was just like, bro, just tell her.
Yeah.
Just tell her. Do something. And just kicking your feet, scratching your head.
Yeah. I was like, is he going to say something? I was like, spit it out.
But yep. So there you go.
You're in love.
I am in love. I am in love.
And give a mention?
And she knows it.
She knows it.
What's her
You
name,
want to
bro?
tell her then. Tell her.
What's her name?
Babe, I love you.
Hey.
No.
What's her name, bro?
Bye. Come on.
Tash, baby, I love you.
Ooh.
There we go. So yes,
It's on camera now.
And again, it goes back to the fact that she accepts me for who I am. She listens intentionally, and
cooks him breakfast and lunch and dinner.
The first explanation actually
Really,
sounded like an
I'm jealous of
interview,
that.
Yeah.
trying to say all the right things. But then the moment you said the thing, we're like,
Yes, he's on the board.
but yeah, she warms my heart. Everything she does for me is incredible and speaks to my love languages, and I am super, super grateful and thankful for her every single day. Even when I was driving here this morning, I was like, fuck, I'm lucky. I am fucking lucky to have this girl in my life. And yeah.
I thought you were about to say lucky to have us.
Well, I am fortunate to have all of you brothers.
No.
But yeah, so there you go.
I'll get great entertainment out of watching that, scenario play out. Because it's just really interesting because everyone does it differently, huh?
Yep.
But the dance is really amusing for me to watch.
The kandi, eh?
Just the way that people choose to do it differently.
Well, I think for me, because my life so long, I haven't let anyone into my life, that everything to do with love has been about my whānau, my tamariki, my parents, my mum, especially.
Josh.
Got to drop that in there, definitely, that's true. So because a relationship side of things is so new for me, it's hard for me not to speak on that part of my heart first.
Yeah.
Because that's where my love really lies with that in my life. This new part of my life is something that is what I've been yearning for a long time. And now that I've got it, I am super grateful. So I wanted that to be the last part that I spoke about so that people know that it's true and it's real, and that's where I'm at.
Ooh, okay.
And what about Josh?
Josh, I love you.
Yeah.
Me and the bros love...
I'm number one. I'm the one.
Boo number one.
To the camera. Come on.
Boo number one. But Tash and Hayley both know this, so...
Yeah.
What else? Who else has got a question around
I
here?
got one for Bino. I was going to hit T with it, but then he just gave us that one. So the other day we only met not too long ago, a couple of days ago at the shed. And it was funny because when you were speaking about what you were talking about, I felt like I was sitting on the carpet. I felt like I was in grade 3 again. and listen to like a elder almost talk to me, right? And I said that to the boys, and then we did that breathing exercise, and that's like I've done that every morning in the shower since, and it's crazy. And I'm like, Saturday is like Christmas morning for me, so I can't wait. But my question to you is, what is it that you're most afraid of? I don't mean to go all Coach Carter on you, but I'm curious, someone like you with your positive mindset, what's your biggest fear?
Well, that's a good question.
Thanks, bro.
I need a coach.
Being less,
Yep.
being less than I know that I should be.
Yep.
Like that changes my physiology just saying it.
Yep. I sort of felt that in the room then.
Yeah, like I've had, and I'm sure a lot of you can agree. Like you've had lots and you've lost lots,
100%.
and I guess you get to a point where you realize that you get given a lot of gifts, or you have had a lot of opportunity, and you squander it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm the most common denominator here.
Yep.
And I'm like, man, I'm the reason why I'm not living the life that I know that I should.
Yep.
When I changed my mindset on that, now, when they say that if your dreams aren't big enough, if they don't scare you, they're not big enough.
Yep. Yep.
So that's what I did.
Yep.
And I guess that's what we're doing.
Yep.
And I'm like, if I screw this up,
Yep.
that's me.
Yep. That's on you.
That scares the shit out of me.
That's cool. I like
Because there's something great going on here.
Yep.
My marriage, our business, our community. And I'm like, if I really screwed that up, that's all on me.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't know if I can live with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Only one thing to do.
Yeah. So
Smash it.
Yeah.
Help yourself.
So I guess when we bring it back down to change,
Yep.
that's why I've continued to allow myself to change.
Yep.
Because I'm scared of not doing that.
That's awesome.
Sweet. Love it. Good answer. What else? Anyone else got some questions for us?
Yeah, for you, bro.
Oh, no, sorry, I'm busy.
Yeah, you never answer the phone, eh?
Yeah.
Actually, I never ring, but... so my question for you, bro, how's it made you feel you're growing up a certain way but looking different? Not really knowing that te ao Māori, that where your connection, not having that connection to your actual bloodline. How did that make you feel, and how are you feeling with it now?
Oh, yeah, like that. Just when you asked me that, I was like, oh, this is a good question, because it was something I sat with it wasn't until I actually got like maybe into around 15 or 16 that I realised that I was actually a little bit different. Like, given where I grew up, there was no Māoris out there.
Yeah.
There's Maori boys and cowboys. That's it. That's all it was. So I never knew anything different. There was no one speaking te reo or anything like that. I didn't even go back to New Zealand, I don't think, until I was like 13. But like I just didn't understand it at all. And then when I got to high school, or kind of outside of high school, there's a couple Māori boys and stuff, and everyone's like, hey, bro, like I never said that. I was like, no, it's mate. Like it's mate. They like call me bro. I never said.
Did you just throw yourself in with the Morris?
Yeah, I just hung out after Murray and
Class yourself as, we're just all the same.
Yeah, we're all same.
I'm with them.
I was just hung out, like when I went to, like I remember grade 8, when I first went to boarding school away, and there was like, there are many different cultures. I just originally just hung out full of Murray boys and Islanders. That was it.
Where did you grow up, bro?
I grew up out west in a small town called Quilpie, which is way out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. And then I went to school up in Rockhampton.
Oh, Rocky, yep, cool.
So I kicked around there, and so for me it wasn't something I realised.
Tough town, Rocky.
Yeah, it's a bit of a wild old joint.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I guess how does it make me feel? At first, I wasn't accepting of it, and I was like, look, you know what, I'm this, they're that. I don't, but it took me a long time to, okay, yeah, that's definitely part of my culture and my background and my story. I need to accept that and be more open to it. But, you know, I've been in many places in New Zealand, and, you know, everyone hears me talk and they're like, oh, what the hell's going on here? But now I have a very different understanding. I'm like, look, I wasn't fortunate enough to grow up with the culture that you guys have grown up with. So I'm able to navigate those conversations a little bit better now, as where I used to just distance myself from people that, you know, the Māori culture and everything like that, and people that, you know, wanted to start talking to me in that aspect. I'm like, I don't know where I'm from, you know, but I'm like, I can learn. Yep. So I've been just learning into that a lot. But I guess that kind of, you know, I'm thinking about it now, like that kind of transitioned all the way through my younger, like primary school and high school years, where I didn't know where I fitted in. Yeah. I didn't really know where I fit in.
I think we had a chat about this at the rugby club,
I was like, shit, I don't know where I fit in. But in hindsight now, it's actually made a really good thing, because I didn't actually segregate myself to one community or one. I hung out with the Cowboys, I hung out with the Murray boys, I hung out with the Islander boys, I hung out with the Surfer boys, I hung out with the smart kids because they helped me out in school.
Did my work.
Hung out with the footy jocks, the whole lot.
Yeah.
I never stuck with one group. I fitted in with everyone.
That's cool.
And I think that was a big part because I didn't know which circle I belonged to. But now that I've at the back end of my 30s, on my 20s, it's been a really big help because I can go to any circle. I've got many circles I go to and I just seem to seamlessly fit in.
But how does it make you feel now that you have made that connection though? Did you feel like when you realised and started understanding that you needed to look into that, how did it make you feel to make that connection?
So there's a bit to this for me. So I never fully accepted it, and so I actually had a ayahuasca at the start of the year, and this has come up in it. And Leonard would know this because he was here because I went home, and this was what it was. I had this real battle, like where's home for me? Where's home? And like is it New Zealand? Because we'd been traveling New Zealand for a while, and like I had to have this conversation with myself, and I was like, "Fuck, I don't know where home is."
Yeah.
But I got in my car one night and I drove to Quilpie, which is where I grew up, and I knew I'd know when I got out there, and I got out there.
Don't
and I was
forget
home.
to tell them how far away it is.
Yes, 13, 14 hours. I left here.
So it was like Monday night, and then he just he came home, and then he just started packing the car. And I went out to the garage and I said, "Bro, everything all right?" He goes, "Bro, I just gotta go.
Yeah, it was eating me
So
out.
came
hey?
home, it bothered him that much. He just there and then I'm gonna go drive in 15 hours.
Yeah, drove to Roma, camped in the back of my ute for a couple of hours, had a sleep, and then busted out the rest of it the next morning. Got there, but for me,
It
that
was the week
like,
of our first walk of the year.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like,
Please come back.
I might lead this by myself, I guess.
I was just like,
I just have to have faith. You know, he looks like a man that needs to do something.
Yeah.
Let him go do the thing. You know, like I'm sure it's all it's necessary.
Yep.
I'm not going to stand in his way. You know, this is what we do.
Yeah.
We help people do whatever they need to do,
Yeah.
so they can live the life that they need to live.
Yeah.
So how'd you feel when you got there?
it's home.
Yeah,
the
right.
bush is
Awesome.
home for me, and
Nice, bro.
that was a confusion for me, and that's where I really solidified. Okay, righto, I'm Māori, definitely. My parents, both Māori, but I'm from the bush.
Yeah.
You can't. There
That-
ain't no
yeah.
worries. I don't care. Wherever I go to, however many places I visit, I'm from the bush, and that's that.
We're both
He got
answer
serious.
both. We're about to both answer that. You go. You go.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part for anyone that is, say, Māori or Polynesian, that were either brought up in another country or even were, like for us being Māori, like I'm from Aotearoa, I'm from New Zealand, but I didn't have that connection a lot back home, even when I was living there. So I call Australia home now because I've been here 10 years and my kids are born here. I will go home for holidays, but I won't move back home. So this is now, back to Aotearoa, so that's where I'm from, but I now call Australia home. And I think trying to help people understand that they don't need to have a direct connection, say for Māori to New Zealand to be Māori, right? Like it's in you, that wairua, that spirit, your tipuna still sit in you, your ancestors, for those that don't understand. So your ancestors still sit within you no matter where you are brought up or no matter where you live, right?
That was a real turning point for me where I accepted both.
Yeah.
Because before I was torn in two. I was like, okay, I'm confused. Am I this? Am I that? I'm like, okay, no. I'm from the bush. I'm from the country. I love that. You can't take that from me because I lived there. I grew up on the land, and that was just how my life was. But then there's the Māori culture in the background, which I opened up and fully accepted that that's part of who I am. But home for me is there. And that is part of my spiritual cultural background, which is the Māori culture. And I know I'm sweet. I sound like an Aussie dude. How you going, mate?
Yep.
But I got a Māori last name.
But
that's it.
The other thing for me that's really important there is to understand that as Māori, we were explorers.
Yeah.
You know, like for me, I'm named after the Māori warrior who named the place that I'm from. But, and this wasn't until we set up Puki Te Haora and I went home for my granddad's tangi for his funeral. And for the first time, I had someone say to me, you need to come home, you need to be on the marae, you need to be speaking, blah, blah, blah. And in that moment, because of the community that we were creating over here, I was able to confidently, in my heart, go, no. Home for me at the moment, and probably moving forward, is in the Gold Coast, in Australia, in Iydknyk. And what it really opened my eyes up to was Te Rangi Whakaputa, who's my namesake, my tupuna. He was the one who ventured off from his people down to Rapaki, claimed that bit of land and stayed there, had his family, settled the people, and then left his son in charge while he buggered off and went exploring again.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing though. A lot of people, especially when you're brought up the way that we are, is needing that sense of belonging. I feel like we have to belong to a group, we have to belong to a religion or a culture. Like the biggest thing you can be is belong to oneself, and that's help yourself, right? That comes back to that. So for me, you belong everywhere, nowhere, and we spoke about this before. One other time is that when I realised that I belong exactly where I am right now and nowhere else, then you can feel at peace with that.
Home is here.
Because I'm a fair Māori, right? So I was too Māori for the Pākehā and too Pākehā for the Māori. So I couldn't, sorry, that's Māori and non-Māori. So for me, I never felt like I fully belonged anywhere. I was in every group, but on the outside of the group. You know, so that created a confusion with me, and then I never really felt like I got that acceptance. But when you realise that you just belong to you, and where you choose to be is where you're meant to be right now, then
I
life's
think
sweet.
this really highlights why it's so important that Help Yourself, Men's Medicine, that we do what we do.
Yeah.
Because there are thousands of Māori and Polynesians that all feel the same way that we feel. My story is just, and when he was sharing, I was like, there's no mistake that we ended up together.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? Both of my parents are Tongan, but I was born in Australia. And there's 12 of us all born in Australia. You know, growing up in an all-white community I grew up in. You know, and I did what you did. I just was like, I'm the Tongan from down under. This is just, and I just accepted that I didn't connect with my culture until I woke up to myself and realised every day that I wake up, there's a Tongan guy in the mirror. Like, that's the first thing people see. You know, it doesn't matter how much I don't speak Tongan. That's what they see, and I'm like, all right, okay. That's and then even going back, you can feel the connection. I'm like, oh, this is home, and I've never been here before.
Love it. We got any other questions?
Yeah, so Bo, this is actually something along the same lines that I was going to ask you, because obviously a lot of people wouldn't know that you're Aboriginal. How has that journey been for you? Obviously, we found out the other day that you didn't realise till you were in your teens as well. What's that experience like for you? How does that make you feel? What connection do you have to it? And how does that make you feel knowing that you're Aboriginal?
Really good. In short, but I sort of had hints along the way, like I can throw a boomerang like you wouldn't believe. I love hunting, fishing, camping, staying in the woods, and camping to me is swag on the ground, not, start your own fire, not with lighters and petrol and chainsaws and all this shit. But shout out to people that do that, good on them. But
too nice, eh?
But so like my grandmother was extremely half caste, and she talks the language, and her sister was actually one of the first Aboriginal police officers in Charters Towers. So like that's part of the family, which I wasn't kept from, but I didn't know too much about it. It wasn't until one of my aunties passed away, and we went to the funeral. I'm like, wow, I'm the whitest person here by a mile, and there's all these cousins and uncles and that I haven't really met, and we're carrying out the coffin, and it was really sort of enlightening to me. I was like, oh, cool. But I felt like I belonged straight away as well. I didn't feel like I stood out being the only white person there, per se, you know what I mean? So, and it made a lot of sense to me. It made me feel accepted everywhere, similar to what you were saying. So I felt like I fit in with the white people, with the bearded people, with the Aboriginal people, you know what I mean? I could go anywhere and just be myself, more or less.
Did you feel like it answered a few things for you too?
Definitely. A few questions. Like when we were axe throwing the other day, I'm like, man, I just want to go hunting. Like, I'm sick of throwing this at the board. Like, I want to go catch a rabbit or something. Like,
axe throwing sucks, by the
I
way.
want to be in the mangroves where I run away from crocodiles. Like, that's where my mind was straight away, you know? But yeah, definitely answered some questions that I had inside, for sure. Awesome. And I kind of wish I knew about it a lot earlier. Not that it would have changed anything too much, but it would have been cool to know. I wouldn't have had those questions lingering for all those years.
Have you had the opportunity to explore the Aboriginal side of it?
Definitely. So especially when I went mining, meeting all the other Aboriginal people from Adelaide and stuff like that, and talking to them about their culture was a huge eye-opener, and going out to Mount Isa and places like that and learning about other cultures was incredible. And the artwork and stuff like that, I've been looking into that a lot more lately, and all the stories, the Dreamtime stories and that, reading up on that. So it's really
Where's
cool.
your mob from?
So right? we're from Hughenden originally. So just outside, Huon and
Yeah, I
Yard.
know it is. Yeah.
Is that?
I knew you had a bit of bull rider in you, bro.
Yeah.
I can
I've
hear
been
it
a
in your
bull
voice.
rider. I've
As soon
jumped on a few bulls.
As soon as you said it, I was like, the accent, I can hear it now. Boarding school, yep, you're on.
That's it, yeah.
So that's where our mob's from, out that way. But it's just incredible to meet up with all my aunties and uncles, and they've only just started to sort of follow me on Facebook and that sort of stuff. And with Help Yourself, they're like asking me questions about like, oh, what's your mob doing in this? And it's been crazy. Yeah.
Love it. Anyone else got any questions? Actually, just on that too. Sorry, I know how you found out you had Aboriginal, and I've got Scottish.
Yep.
My dad's mother is Scottish.
Yeah.
And I haven't even got that far. I'm still trying to do the Māori side of things. And
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
Tapering into that last, but that was an interesting one for me as well.
That's funny because my grandfather's from South Africa, one of my grandfathers, so my mum's dad, he's half South African, half Scottish. So he grew up in South Africa till he was 10, and then he went to Scotland and grew up there, which he said was like rough. Like he told me on the first day of school, you'd get to school and they'd be like, all right, here's the list of all the best fighters in the school. You got to fight the shittest fighter and then work your way up the list. So every lunchtime, they'd just be punching on. He reckons he was busted up for about 3 years. But mind you, he can swing a punch now. Like, you don't make it necessarily with that man. But so I had that side, and then I also had like Irish Aboriginal on the other side. So it's like this mix of all these different cultures, and I still want to learn the South African, and I want to learn all about it because I think it'll help me discover who I am a bit more, you know?
I think it really highlights how, because everyone here's got, like you've got Aboriginal in you, both your parents Māori, but they
You've had
travel
some
around
Aboriginal,
Central Australia. Both of my parents are full Tongan. They're Tongan, and I guess both of my grandmas are part Niuean, so they're light-skinned, more light-skinned there. Yeah. Both use Māoris as well. Is that there's such a multicultural conversation going on here.
Yeah, it's
and
cool.
it just highlights how humans move.
For sure.
Everywhere.
Yeah. That's what I said to my mum. I said, shit, our ancestors used to root around a bit. They've gone all over the place. Jeez.
I've been busy.
I didn't want to do one of them Ancestry.com tests. Like, that long.
They had one of them good boats. They got around. Any other questions? Anyone else got something they want to throw at anyone? Come on, you're only going to get this one chance.
Man, the question to you was actually, I was like, man, a question to everyone. For some reason, I felt more drawn to actually ask both of you that same question. What do you care about most? And even if, whatever that answer is, do people know that about you? Is that how people know you?
What do I care about most?
What do you care about the most? And then my question after that is, do people know that about you?
I like the question.
Yeah, that's brilliant question.
Because this is the thing that matters the fucking most to you.
Mine's definitely the same as Josh. Family, kids, mum, dad, my daughter, my son. And I think everyone knows that. Like, I wear it on my sleeve all the time. Like, it's more important to me than all the money in the world or all the health and happiness to myself, which sort of changed. I'm like, all right, I love them, but I got to look after myself as well, and I can love them even more, you know? Yeah. But no, definitely kids, for sure.
That makes me question myself, actually, in regards to, because obviously I've spoken about it enough now that my tamariki are the thing that I care about the most. Mm-hmm. But do they know that?
Yeah, if someone was to talk about you, is that the thing that they would speak about you?
I think other people would, but my question to myself now is, do my kids know that?
Yeah,
oh,
with you.
I didn't
Do
think
my
about
kids
that.
know
Yeah,
Leno's mind just blew then.
So, because now we're talking about the people that you're saying.
Because I know that they know that I love them, but do they know that they're the thing that I care about the most? I don't know if they...
See, I make that a point.
Yeah.
I tell especially my partner and my kids, like I tell them all the time, that's something that it's something that I wanted. Yeah. So as it comes back to being that individual that I wish I had, and it's not, again, like, you know, it's hard as parents because you don't know, right? Like, and especially back in the day, the parenting was so much different than it is now, and as more things were accepted. But you know, like even little things for me, I was very good at rugby when I was younger, in my intermediate and teenage life, and I was in the paper and all that stuff, and I was pretty good. But my parents never pushed me at anything. I wanted to leave school at 15, they let me leave. I showed potential in sports, and they never pushed me to be good at sports. They never went out and kicked the ball with me or threw a softball or whatever it might have been. So I think, that was a big thing for me. I tell my kids all the time. Like I think my dad told me he loved me the first time from memory. He might have told me when I was really young, but actually told me because he wasn't going overseas and he's in the army, was when I graduated from joining the army, and I was 21, I think. So that was the first time. So I'm like, I'll probably say it too much.
Yeah, right.
Now I'm probably like, love you, love you, love you, love you. Remember Dad loves you? Yeah. So those things that I really wanted, I make sure I give. So that's probably a big thing.
I think I'm like you. I make a point of it. I make a point of it all the time. Yeah. But I guess like you're only saying that because it's honest.
Yeah.
You're just like,
sure.
I'm with you, T. I'm the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know my kids know that I love them.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they actually know that they're the thing that I care about the most.
The one and only.
world.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. Yeah, that's something that I need to.
Ask that question again.
So
what is it you care about most, and is that what people know about you? But you took it one step further and just like, geez, do the people that I say that I care about the most, do they even know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll let you sit with that one because that one's like getting you just like, oh man, I've got to let them know.
Yeah.
But look, I want to, I don't know, I really felt drawn to you because I'm like, I feel like, and yours is talking more about family now, you know, and really starting to feel that. But I'm like, sometimes, you know, you assume.
Yeah.
But do I know? Yeah. So what do you care about most, and do people know that about you?
Oh, it's just, I guess for me, just trying to answer this question, the thing that comes to mind is, it's a saying I've said since forever. I live my life, I love my life. And I feel like that's people, you know, in a phrase, that's kind of what people know me for. I do live my life, I do love my life. And it's something I do every morning. I'm just looking over here because it's part of my morning routine. I drop a knee every morning and I put my hand on the ground and I'm like, you know, what am I grateful for? And I feel it, that's that. And then I always say every day, I live my life, I love my life. And I go,
Man,
I go like
I like
that.
that. That's cool.
You're a liver.
Yeah. And I feel like that is what I feel like I'm known for that. You know, I live my life, I love my life. And that's kind of,
I think a lot of people could benefit from doing that.
Yeah.
Like a hell of a lot of people.
It's like stop and I'm like, okay, it's
I
go
think
time.
that's a powerful thing to even
100%.
just to hear.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
That's what you care about the most, living. And that's what people know about you as well. Because I guess that's a like perspective that this is what I think, you know, that I'm living my purpose, I'm living life the way that I want to live it. But that's completely not what people know me for.
Yeah.
what's something that you guys care about but wish you didn't? So for me, I know what mine is. People probably would say this too, I think I probably project it, is I have this chip on my shoulder to, same as you, to be my best, but I have this thing where I need to prove, and I think it's a story that I made up. I think I have an idea in my head that people think I'm worth fuck all, right? I have the story in my head where everyone expects me to fail. So I have this thing where I have to prove everyone wrong. And no one even gives a shit. No one's going home and talking to say, Josh is going to fucking fail.
Yeah, Josh is going to fail.
But in my head, I've got this thing saying everyone expects me to fail, but it's a story that I've written for myself. So I have this like chip on my shoulder that I have to be fucking good at what I do. I have to, same as you, like I have to be at this level, and like I care about that so fucking much. Like my family, yes, and they're number one, but that's probably second, right? It annoys me that I care so much about it. Even though I know it, no one's saying shit, you know. Or there's probably, people may have said something when I was young and maybe that stuck with me, but I have that massive chip on my shoulder. And people can probably see it by the way I say things on Facebook or Instagram sometimes, like, fuck you, motherfucker, you know, like, and no one even cares. So that's something that I wish I didn't care about, but I do.
That's a good question.
Conforming.
Yeah.
Fucking hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it. Authority. I'll do the opposite, or I stay the way that I am because it's not the way that others are.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm with
you.
Yep.
You know, and it just and I guess there's that like I used to get pulled up for riding my push bike through the shops all the time, and I remember when I was doing this course, they're saying, "Why do you keep doing that? Why don't you just not do it?" And I go, "Yeah." I do it because I'm not supposed to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I'll do it the way that I want to do it. which is why you experienced, change for me. And I'm just like, I can follow routine for a bit, but then I feel like a robot. I don't want to be a robot.
Yep.
And I was like, no. And it makes, I wish I didn't care so much about breaking rules.
Yep.
But I do.
It's funny because the thing that I don't want to care about drives me too. I mean, that's a big part. Like my family motivated me, inspired me, but I can feed them on 90K a year, right? Yeah. But there's something that motivates and inspires me just to be fucking better. Yeah. And I want to stand at the top. And those that didn't want to come with me or didn't believe in me, I want to stand there. I'll pull the finger and say, fuck you. I don't care about being nice. You know what I mean? So I have this thing I don't know. It just drives me like crazy. When I'll go to bed, I'm like, you got probably 2 more hours than you. 2 more hours. Do something with it. Yeah. So I don't sleep a lot. But the bro's probably telling me to sleep more. But I think that, although I wish it didn't eat me up sometimes, it does drive me to try and be better all the time.
I think that element exists in everyone sitting at the table, and law of attraction, you're all drawn to each other because challenge the unspoken rules. Men's medicine built on what we're talking about right now. And I think that's what makes men's medicine what it is. It's because you're seeing something that you just wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
You're doing things that other people don't expect. And we like to make, I guess, that the norm.
Yep.
Going against the grain, doing things, that people don't. People try to put you in a box.
100%.
Individuality is the one, right? It's accepting that. Accepting that we can be different, we are different.
Yep.
No one's exactly the same, but we try to be the same as someone. Like I used to listen to a lot of podcasts. I used to watch a lot of things on YouTube, but then I found myself trying to be like those individuals because I watch them all the time. Yeah. Now I don't watch shit or listen to nothing because I'll learn. I read books. I've gone more to reading than that stuff because I find that's your imagination, reading those words, right? Rather than watching someone's mannerisms and their characteristics. So for me, that was a big part of learning to be myself. I got away from all that because I found the way I was talking was like what I was listening to. Yeah. I started repeating that stuff.
This, right? Is what another thing that rather than listening to these conversations are what provoke a thought that we can then discuss further on.
It's like putting petrol on the bonfire, man. It fuels your fire. I can't wait to get out of here. I'm going to go and do something today, you know what I mean?
That's why I love that you didn't give us questions at the start because then you can think about it. You can, how should I answer that? And that comes back
puts you on the spot.
Yeah. And that's always the best way to be. Like, however you answer now is probably the most organically way you can answer.
Yeah. And that's how we run everything that we do. Yeah. Like all our videos and everything, we're like,
that's
okay,
raw.
What are we going to do?
One take. Probably a bit too much.
Too much,
But when I was like, we were coming here to do this, I was like, what are we going to do? I don't even know.
Yeah, we
got here. We've been on for an hour and 20 and it's still good. I know you're all still listening. It's good content.
I find that a hard one because I feel that everything that I care about, I'm glad I care about. So I find that really tough to even come up with something. I'm trying to generate something in my head. Like
you don't have to have something.
No, exactly. And that's what I mean.
Being an individual, bro.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. So I feel like there's nothing like I put my care into things that I'm glad I care about. Otherwise, I don't put my care into it. Is where I'm sort of at mentally.
I think just with me and the bro, I think we realise that because we care about those things so deeply,
they help fuel you.
But it can eat you up too.
Well, I think what you're talking about is that there's a point where you know, well, there's something about the way that you do things that you know that you could do it another way, but you're like, no.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. That's what you're talking about, huh?
Yeah. It's because, sometimes the thing that makes us so special is also the thing that eats at us. Like for me...
You're like, I could live off 90K, but no.
Oh, no, shit no, bro. Shit no. And people... That's another conversation we can talk about money anytime. But I think for me, like a lot of anxiety that I get is created around the same thing that drives and motivates me.
Yeah, and I think I was actually listening to that, and what they were saying was it's important to have that chip on your shoulder.
100%.
And that the studies show, and I've said this so many times, but I say it because there's a lot of value in it, that acutely in the initial stage, that having that chip on your shoulder or being pissed off with something, that anger initially has a lot of benefits to it.
Yeah.
Nothing like good competition.
I tell you,
Always.
Yeah. That's
the
fair.
amount of "fuck you, I'm going to prove you wrong" that comes into the head.
Yeah.
often
We
is-
know that that's not a long game, a long-term
Yeah.
thing, but the initial wanting to prove someone wrong.
Yeah, I did this exact thing. Yeah, when I first started my construction business, I left Gladstone with a straight chip on my shoulder.
Yeah.
And
What
I
was the chip?
I was like, you know what, fuck, you can't just rid me off, because obviously I was, I was smoking crack, doing drugs, like hard out, and I kind of tidied my shit up, and I was working in Gladstone. I tidied my things up, and I was, things were starting to look up for me, and I had a lot of people that weren't in my corner that pretended they were in my corner, and they were just riding me off everywhere. And
Is there anything you specifically remember that you heard that you're like, nah?
There was a lot. I was having this conversation yesterday because I actually hadn't spoken about it. I remember the day I walked in and I quit my job in Gladstone. I was put all my shit on the desk because I had to give me a car. I had a car and a computer, and I walked in there. I had an argument with the guy because I bobbed a bobcat down the back.
It happens.
Long story short, but I was a very valuable person to the crew and team, and and anyway, one of the managers was having a bit of a go at me, and I was just, you know what, fuck this guy, I'm going back in there. I walked in, I put all my shit on the table, I was like, I'm out of here, bro. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, I'm going. He's like, what, you leaving? I was like, fucking, I'm going, brother, see you later.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, don't come back. I was like, I ain't coming back, bro. I was like, I ain't coming back, trust me.
Did I stutter?
Don't tell me not to.
Yeah, I walked out the site and fucked off, and that was it. And I remember I was like, prove these motherfuckers wrong.
Actually,
and I went home. I was sitting in Gladstone. I had this, I was living by myself again, similar to this kind of house, nothing in it. It was just me chilling. I went and brought myself a little laptop, and I was on this computer just going for it. Start my own business.
Yeah.
And I was just like, started just going for it. I had one stool like that in my island bench, and I sat there and I just made my construction business. And I was like, well, where am I going? I'm like, going to the Gold Coast. So I like the Gold Coast. It's all good.
Yeah.
The next week or whatever it was, I threw all my shit in my car. Whatever didn't fit in my car, I didn't take it, and I had this tray back ute, and I just drove it to Gladstone to the Gold Coast. It had a gearbox in it, and I kind of just made it here. And then I ditched it, got a new ute, got a trailer, and then, we just went for it. And that was it.
What a story.
And that's, I guess, why anger works initially.
Yeah.
And you need that, You need that thing that
I've got a question for you, bro.
moment makes you piss off.
So these questions, you can ask anything, right?
Yeah.
So when I sit here and I listen to everyone speak, competitiveness drives us, whether it's with ourselves or with someone else. I love competition with other people, okay? So when I see another clothing place, I'm like, I hope you sell a shirt, but I want to sell more fucking shirts. I don't want you to fail, don't do as good as me. I'm gonna do better, right? So I can't help but think like that. My whole playing sport, I was so competitive. I'm competitive in Monopoly. I'm competitive in every sport that we play. I won't lie, I hate losing. I accept losing if I'm really shit, but if I could have done better, then it eats me up inside. Right, so if I didn't land it on a certain street in Monopoly and I didn't buy it and I should have, someone else buys it, I'm fucked off for the whole night. But my thing for you, bro, being, you like to share positivity all the time and smile all the time, nice white teeth you have, is you were the first person to really do these walks. Now you're probably the first of about 100 people doing these walks. So how does it make you feel when you see people do what you've done but not been through the journey you have been through to do it? Is there a competitiveness of you wanting people to come to yours instead of theirs?
Good question. I like it.
Because I know you want to be, you're dancing.
Yeah, no, well, the competitiveness.
They let him dance.
My competitiveness is, I feel, is a bit different.
Yeah.
I definitely hear what you're saying about them not traveling the same journey as me. But even if they did, they still wouldn't come out the same way.
Yep.
This journey and the way that I express it is the way that I do it.
Yep.
And I think those that are doing it their way are doing it their way. And sometimes you can give someone the blueprint. They're still going to fuck it up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And heck, helped me write it out. He made me write it out because it was all in my head.
Yep.
And no one else knew it.
Yep.
So I wrote it out. And the people that we gave it to didn't even read it.
Yep.
So, you know, I think it's weird, I'll be honest with you, watching the exact same thing that we did happen and seeing it for the first time, I'm like, oh, that's weird. Because we've been here from the start, you know, and before it, you're right, no one was doing this.
Yeah.
And I know how I came up to the final, you know, product that we walked out with, and what I know how it developed and why it developed and why things changed and moved the way that they did and why things are the way they are and why we do things the specific way we do it. And I know that what I've seen, I didn't teach any of those people anything.
Yeah.
I know that there's a lot of people that have experienced our journey with us,
Yep.
but I didn't actually teach. There's only one person that I taught. Yeah, and that's John Robin, who's over in Hawke's Bay doing it. And he's doing a great job. There's 2 Tāne walks, hikois, and then there's been the Wahine hikoi that did it recently. And they've been able to experience the same experience because he was taught
Yep.
the way that we do it.
Yeah.
I know that he's the only one I taught. So anything outside of that, I didn't actually teach them. So whatever they're doing is what they've either experienced or and the additions that they made into it. All I can do is wish everyone the best.
Dancing.
Dancing.
All I can do is wish everyone the best because that's extremely important because essentially what we're talking about at the end of the day is people's lives.
Yep.
People's lives here. And I know the training that I've learned to make sure that I've, you know, covered, like, that I can do what I do.
Yep.
You know, and that we do things the way that we do.
It's a hard thing, bro, because do you wish them the best, or do you wish that they provide the best possible walk, right? Because you wish them the best because they're going to help people. Right? That's what you're saying?
I wish them the best that they serve people.
Yeah, there we go.
That they serve the people.
Yep. Do you feel like, so for me that's hard, bro, because why would you go and do your own bloody walk when you can go to Men's Medicine's walk? That's this product that works and is amazing. So that's a funny mindset, right? Like, why would you go and open you up? Do you need to be in control of the walk? Like, that's what's weird to me, because that's a funny thing, right? Like, why don't you just keep going to the walk? If it works, like, why do you need to run the walk? Now, why do you feel like you need to be in that space to run it?
Someone else, like people going and doing their own things. I think that's the nature of men.
Yeah.
The nature of men, and you think about yourself. Like, how good were you at being told what to do?
Shit house.
Yeah, everyone at this table. Yeah.
Oh, no, I was awesome.
Everyone at this table.
Yeah.
That's the nature of man.
If you think
say
you're good,
I'll
slap the fuck out of you.
at some point in time, as a man, you're gonna want to get up just like what you did.
Yeah.
You're just like, you know what? I'm gonna go do my own thing, and that's what I guess my takeaway from all of this is. I'm just one man. We're just, you know, 2 men here doing what we do. We can never possibly service absolutely everybody. Yeah. So I think it's actually really important that there's more out there doing this. Yeah. No one will ever do it. Doesn't matter how well I teach John. I have to teach him how to do it the way that he does it. It'll never come out the same way that
there's
I
only
do
one
it.
Colonel's recipe.
That's right.
That chicken's
Yeah, and I'm the
Colonel's,
colonel.
you know?
Yeah.
That's it. And you're the colonel.
Recipe.
Make whatever.
I'm hungry. I want some
Why do you
chicken.
think my beard is starting to change?
Make whatever
You
chicken
know?
you want,
Cool,
but
mate.
Yeah.
KFC's the best.
That's exactly right.
I love that, bro.
Yeah,
That's mad.
That's cool.
Yeah, I always say that too. Like, I don't matter. I can give you whatever you want. You can do the same thing as me. Oh, well, just do it better, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I ain't afraid of a bit of competition. Like,
Well, that competition drives you, right?
Yeah, it does.
I see a new, for example, Piki Te Holder, because Help Yourself is reasonably new in terms of clothing. Piki Te Holder, when we started, bro, we couldn't find bugger people that were teaching Te Reo Māori, especially online or in Australia. Since we started, they're everywhere.
yeah.
You know, so that wasn't like, to me, I wasn't like, I hope you don't do it, because then that's different, right? Because clothing's a product. We're serving our people. I'm like, yep, cool, there's more people, but we need to make what we do better. We need to improve our program. We need to do things that no one else can do, and
We
how
want
they...
people coming to our program.
Yeah.
And I think also, have you read Simon Sinek's Infinite Game?
No.
It's a strong no.
You've asked me before.
But what he speaks about in there is making sure that you have a worthy opponent.
Yeah.
And that without these other people that are doing something, you're not going to have any other competition. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a real different play on it now, definitely from when I left, you know, doing what I was doing about 5-6 years ago to now, as where I was aggressive, like in a recklessly aggressive. As
Yeah.
we're now, I'm patiently aggressive.
Yeah.
And it's a big difference.
nice,
There's
bro.
a difference. There's
It's
a
like
play there.
the wolf on top of the hill.
Yeah.
Knows that the other ones are coming, so he stays fit, stays healthy, gets ready.
Yeah.
And if
Patiently,
you're happy within yourself, you can do that.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%.
patiently aggressive is how I approach everything.
That's
now.
cool. I like that.
I just want to go back to what we were talking about before as well, about the aggressive being competitive. And I remember the point for me that turned me around to go, actually, you know what, fuck you, was someone actually said to me on one of my Facebook posts, when I started looking at personal development and I got into some network marketing and all that sort of stuff, and some of the things started changing, I got a lot of backlash. And there was one particular comment, one particular person who told me that if you haven't made it by the age of 30, then you're not going to make it. And that was for me, and I was probably about 29 at the time, and I was like, you know what? Fuck you. Because I only started believing in myself when I was 25 to 27.
Yeah.
That self-belief and that self-confidence. And I had my degree and I was taught for 3 years. I just moved over to Australia. So my confidence was just coming through. I didn't believe that I deserved my degree. I didn't believe that I deserved my first teaching job that I got. I didn't believe that I had the ability to teach the young people that I was teaching for 3 years. And then when I finally did, I left the industry because I was like, no, this isn't where I want to be. So for someone to tell me that if you haven't made it by the age of 30, then you're wasting your time.
That's a sad outlook on life.
I was
bro.
like,
that's sad.
fuck you.
Yeah, fuck them.
I'm going to prove you wrong.
I think everyone's obviously got a fuck you story.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I guess it depends on what you do with that story, though, right? Because everyone can find one.
That story got me into personal training,
Yeah.
or forced me to get to train harder. I was walking. It was the morning of my brother's 21st. I was walking down the hallway, about to go to gym, and my brother turned around to me and he said, "Oi, where you going?" And I was like, "Oh, the gym." And then he stopped and he turned around and he goes, "I don't even know why you go to the gym. Hey, you will never be bigger than me." And in that moment, unconsciously in my mind, I was like, "Yeah, fuck you. I'm gonna show you."
My dad did the same thing, bro. Yep. Because I was 146 kilos at 19. So when I first started training, I hated training. So before a rugby game, I was the captain, but I used to go take a shit for half an hour so I didn't have to warm up because I'd get tired. That's how much I hated running. Unless I had a ball in my hands, I was going to smash you. They're the only times I like running. But my old man, so we moved out to this place called Burling's Flat in Little River in Christchurch. It's way out in the country. And I said, look, Dad, I want to lose some weight. So that was probably one of the worst things I could say. He's like, but he also said, keep eating and be big because you'll never have abs. I didn't really know that if you trained abs 10 times a day that it didn't actually change anything. But I on that journey, like that was it for me. I was like, that was my main focus. Was like, I can prove that's it. That's one of the real first times I think someone really said it out loud, and that may be what is part of the thing that drives me still. But I remember saying, "You never have. You're just a big dude."
And not everyone has that.
No, you're right. That's it.
There's people that fold.
Yeah, 100%.
Someone tells them they can't do anything, they believe it straight away.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess I can't do it.
Yeah.
Depends on where you place it, but in front of you or behind you.
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
matter.
cool.
You know, you can receive some feedback or some information. You can either put it in front of you and it can stop you, or you can put it behind you and it's going to drive you.
Yeah.
It's like, where are you placing that
That's
fear,
cool.
in front or
I like
behind?
Whatever became of that whole making a new plan, telling your boss to fuck you? Like, where did you?
Like, what do you mean?
How long
Like,
did it take for you to? How long did it take for you to do whatever it is you set out to do? Did you even do it?
Like your construction business.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I hit it hard. I was like, you know what? I got people to prove wrong here.
Yeah.
And it's actually kind of funny. Like, I just done it. I was like, you know, you kind of know how I am. I'm just like, once I'm doing something, I'm doing it. Like, if we're jumping off, we're jumping, bro. You know, we ain't going halfway.
Yeah.
And I just did it. But I guess in a full circle, what happened was in about 4 years later, I was in the construction industry. My business was going good and everything like that. I felt like I run out of motivation, and I was like, what's going wrong here? And it took me probably about 8 weeks. And I was like, shit, I proved everyone wrong. Like the whole circle, there's a lot of people that I had had come full circle, and I realized I hit a plain spot. I was like,
A plateau.
I was like, these motherfuckers don't doubt me. They talk to me now. They say, hey, bro, you're doing well. Thanks. You know, you've tidied your shit up a lot. You know, kudos.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had none of those people anymore.
Yeah.
I was like, shit.
Yeah.
Is that when you realised that you needed to step away and it probably wasn't your passion what you were doing?
No, definitely. I still love it. I still love the game. The building the game. It's fast. It's clicky. It's like, you know, it's just, you wake up in the morning and fucking everything could be all fried. And I'm like, okay, let's break it down, shuffle it, hit it, bang, cut that out. You go there, you go there. And that's, I love that fast lane game shit. But it, I realized, I'm like, shit, I can do some other stuff. Yeah. I can do. I'm good at this. I can stay on this lane and we can just keep getting better and better. But I'm like, there's some more stuff. Like I can come back to this tomorrow. I'm like, if I started my if I could start it up a construction business tomorrow, I reckon in 2 months I'll be straight back where I was. Probably better. I'm like, okay, let's risk some biscuits here. Let's go for it. So yeah, that was really awesome for me to be able to just, you know, pick that up and then I had to find my why, my real why I was doing business.
I think that just really shows, you know, having to prove someone wrong, being angry at someone or something can only last so long. Yeah. Because what happens once you've proved them wrong? Yeah. Did you have another plan?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what happened.
The picture's got to be a lot bigger than that first. Getting that carrot. What do you do when you get that carrot?
Yeah.
Eat it and then you move on.
And I think like making something happen is hard. Yeah. Keeping it going is even harder. That's even harder.
That's weird.
You know, and everyone remembers you on, you know, the come up. Oh, you patting on the back, you're doing so good. And then once you're really, really doing so good and you're doing so many things, now your job is to continue doing good. But everyone remembers you. And then when it looks like that's everyone, man, there are people out there that are just waiting to pounce up.
Oh yeah.
Waiting to pounce.
Yeah, I always used to say the doubters made me do it. The
Yeah.
doubters made me do it. I used to say that every day. I was like, the doubters made me do it, baby. I'll be driving home. I'm like, the doubters made me do it. I'm like, but now I'm like, okay, no, I don't need them motherfuckers to drive me. I'm doing this because I know where I want. I have an intention and where I'm setting, and I'm like clear. And it fulfills me. I'm doing, you know, and people say that, I see that people do it all the time. People buy shit to impress people they don't like.
Yeah.
I'm like, why do that?
That's Christmas.
Yeah.
Buying expensive presents for people you don't like to impress them.
I buy nothing.
Yeah, neither, bro.
Like,
It's always been about family for us, like maybe one gift here and there, but everyone coming together was always our Christmas, you know?
Okay. We're heading up to like, what, we're an hour and a half, probably a little bit longer. We'll try to wrap this up actually. Anything else you just want to throw around the table before we...
That's been good chat.
Yeah, it's been a good chat, solid chat.
Fire's going for sure.
Yeah. We're going to wrap it up with an intention, as we do in our circles. An intention to close off the rest of your year. And we're going to change it up too.
I think.
No.
Whatever. Whatever's. It's Christmas morning. You wake up. You look back on 2020, and you're extremely fulfilled and grateful for everything that's happened. What's going to get you there?
Don't touch that back of the mic because it turns on.
Yeah. Whatever the thing is you're going to choose to say, it's whatever produces that result. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Say it again, one more time.
Yeah.
Because you were touching the back of the mic and it switched off.
So there's between now and Christmas, right? Okay, so we still got time to finish and bring the rest of this year home strong. And whatever it is you want to do between now and then, whatever that is, the result that's going to allow you to wake up Christmas morning as fulfilled as you can be for what 2020 has been for you. That's the thing you say. And whatever that thing is you say, that you set out to achieve that.
You want to start?
For me, it's men's medicine. That continuing to do what we set out to do, and grow the way that we've been growing. It feels good right now. It feels really, really good, and I feel like we're moving in the right direction. And I just want to roll into 2021 with a rolling start.
Yep.
You know, I don't want to sleep between now and New Year's and then be like, 2021, let's get started. No, I want to finish it strong and roll into 2021 with momentum. That will make me happy on Christmas Day.
Yeah, it has to be similar. I guess, you know, when I guess it's always about business, you know, in terms of that. I think consistency, I think staying at the consistent level that I want to, that I know I need to be where I want to be on Christmas Day in terms of that. I feel like if I don't hit that, Christmas Day will be a little bit of worry about New Year. When you run a business that your family relies on the income, it's about always making sure that you're on no matter what. So I think in terms of Piki Te Hauora, it's about making sure that we improve the service that we know we need to improve, and that's just organically every single time we do everything, we're trying to do it better. And if we're doing our people a service, then it gets better. So we've got a lot of work to do there, only because we're hard on ourselves. We could continue to run the way we're running it, but we've listened to the feedback and all that. So that's a big thing, making sure that we put these changes in place so that we can run a better service and hit the numbers that we want to hit as well. We have these numbers, and that's what drives us. If we didn't have numbers on how many people we want to connect with in January next year, it's a little bit different. If we didn't have a number, I don't think we'd be driven as much, because we always set that number way higher than we feel like we should probably hit, and we normally hit it.
Yeah.
For Help Yourself, I think it's definitely consistency in terms of what we are providing in terms of content, in terms of business as well. We have other business ideas that we realise that we can't speak out openly because things don't always go to plan. That's between us. But definitely learning. Continue to learn with Help Yourself, because it is a slightly new arena that we are in. Although I'm so used to social media, it's different. It's a product, it's not a service. I've only ever sold a service. Selling a product is really different. So I think just continuing to learn and being consistent in my effort. And I think being consistent as a man in general. I want to make sure that I continue to be a good dad and a good partner, and not lose sight of what's most important. I think probably that's a big thing. Daily, reminding myself why I do it. That's probably it.
I think for me it would be wake up Christmas morning. Help yourself's definitely the first thing I want to say when I open my eyes. I think the way to get there, the tools, we've already laid it out for ourselves. It'll be hustle, loyalty, respect. It's definitely how we're going to get there. I'm personally going to get there. And positivity as well. Keep this positive energy going all the way through to there, and no matter what happens along the way, I know it'll be a good day.
Sweet.
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna go. Obviously, I know Help Yourself, the three of us collectively, is gonna get to where we want it to be.
Yep.
But for me personally, it's gonna have to be Piki Te Hauora and putting the changes and the developments that we want within the program, because I'm the only one that can do that, in place where we want them to be moving into 2021. So the program's all redeveloped, the beginner, or the foundation, I should say, the intermediate and the online portal for both of those programs are solid, set, ready to go for 2021. I'm going to be...
Big year.
Which is, I'm not going to lie, that's a lot of work between now and then.
Yeah, we've got a lot of work.
That is a lot of work between now and then. But yeah, if I can have that in place by the time I wake up Christmas Day, I'm going to be a happy, happy man.
And don't forget love, bro.
Love.
And love.
Lots of love.
Keep loving.
Mine just like what's come to mind for me is just momentum.
Yep.
I set this goal, we talked about it a couple months ago, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck what you do now until the end of the year. We're just momentum. That's what we're focusing on, because you build this momentum now, hit 21, it's like it's just all guns blazing. I feel like at the moment our men's medicine, it's got the right systems in place and the right procedures and the right structure to scale. And we build momentum now. We start 21 with the procedures and everything that we've got in place. We're ready to scale. We're ready to hit the ground running. And and just momentum everywhere, not just only in business, but my lifestyle as well, my health, my wealth, everything like that. So, and that just carries on. And I'm just like, consistency and momentum. That's all I'm focused on for the rest of the year.
I think that's a good answer. There's momentum.
Momentum, I love that, bro.
Spoken about.
As soon as you said momentum, I was like,
shit.
yeah.
Because everything we're doing there allows that momentum.
Yeah, and it's been one of those years where things have been right up. So if that's why I set these a little while ago. Me and Lennon, I'm like, momentum. That's it. We're not trying to be anything too much right now. Don't try overdo anything. Don't do too much. Let's just build momentum, and then that you hit 21 with the momentum behind you. It's like it's pretty hard to fuck some shit up.
I think if you haven't, if 2020 hasn't brought the best out in you, you have wasted your year.
Yeah, what a waste of a year.
100%.
Okay, we're gonna wrap it up here, but we're gonna go around the table. One word. How you feeling?
I feel inspired.
Okay.
Present, very present.
Hungry. And not food. Hungry.
You took mine. Happy.
Sweet.
Convinced.
Yeah, I like that.
Convinced. But that's it. Okay, first of all, where can we find Help Yourself?
On Instagram and Facebook, we're on there. So
Yep.
it's just help yourself.
Okay, sweet. Oh, is that it? Like, but Facebook and Instagram?
Yep.
And the mirror.
Yeah. And what about Picky Tile Water?
So you can find Piki Te Haora on Instagram and Facebook as well. And we've obviously got our website now as well. So www.pikitehaora.com.
That's correct, bro.
There we go.
They missed something, didn't they? Did they
No,
miss
they're
anything?
good.
They got it?
They nailed it.
Okay, sweet. Righto, we'll wrap it up there. But peace and love, everyone. Much respect. If you are on Apple Podcasts, leave a review, rate us. If you're on YouTube, leave some comments below. But I'll leave everyone's details in the description below as well. But much love and respect. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. I'm Mr. Hecker. And if you don't know, now you know. That is our show for today. I appreciate your love, your support. Please have a beautiful, lovely day. If you could, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. That would be much appreciated. Until then, peace and love, and I'll see you on the next one.